King 5 News starts now.
Good evening. We got a lot of response following our investigation into the King County deputy who left an innocent man brain damaged.
The victim's family contacted us, and so did police officers, urging us to dig deeper. So we did.
Tonight, King 5 investigator Linda Byron exposes alarm bells that were sounded years ago in some unlikely places.
This is the Chris Harris his family misses.
He just lived life to the fullest.
What are the secrets to fine cooking?
Seasoning.
Kitchen time with Mom.
He used to love to eat and cook and eat. He can't do that. No, he's on a feeding tube. He can't turn over.
It's my honor to pronounce you husband and wife.
Plans for a baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Ms. Harris.
You know, when we're not in the room, we have a baby monitor to watch him. We have to monitor Chris 24/7.
This is the blow that altered Chris's life.
I will never, to the day I die, get that out of my head.
Yeah. I see a wonderful person dying. The person we knew is no longer here.
Chris had been wrongly identified as a suspect, but when police came after him, he ran.
It's 1-something in the morning. You have two big guys in Belltown. They don't identify themselves. Anybody would run. I would run.
Yeah.
You would run.
It was Deputy Matt Paul who ended the chase with a near-fatal body slam. Was it excessive? The sheriff says no.
We've debated this a lot. What could he have done differently? We don't have an answer.
But the sheriff didn't do the internal investigation or get the outside review she'd promised. And she didn't take a comprehensive look at her deputy. By poring through thousands of internal documents, the King 5 investigators identified a pattern of unnecessary force and questionable tactics before and after the Harris incident.
Had you kind of given up on an investigation ever happening?
Absolutely.
Chris's family says it's the investigation they'd been waiting for 2 years.
What we have known for a long time, that we wanted out there, that people to know that this guy's a thug and the sheriff's department is covering up for him.
But the Harrises aren't the only people we heard from after our stories aired. We heard from police, too. One tip led us here to the Basic Law Enforcement Academy in Burien, where warnings about Deputy Paul surfaced years ago.
Ready? Go. Pull him more, pull him more. Step, 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 step.
In 2007, Deputy Paul was being paid to help out at the academy with defensive tactics training, similar to what you see here.
Put your left hand out, right hand out to the side, palm up.
It can get physical.
Cover your entry, cover your connection.
But Paul was considered too rough and aggressive.
Circle, circle, circle.
Even by police standards. I talked with a Tacoma police officer who felt the brunt of Matt Paul's force during a mock scenario here at the training academy. She says she was knocked down, he fell on top of her and was choking her with her baton to the point where she nearly passed out. She says an instructor intervened, but not before she was injured. The academy commander waved a red flag. In an internal email obtained by the King 5 investigators, Commander Ron Griffin wrote to Paul's bosses at the sheriff's office, warning he exhibited behaviors that were a concern, and we no longer wished to use him. The concerns included using force far above the norm and showing a macho-type demeanor not acceptable to our goals. Griffin even extended the red flag to Paul's work on the street. If Matt's behavior is upsetting to us at the academy, he is likely exhibiting poor behavior to the public or fellow deputies. Paul's chief, Scott Kimmerer, responded that he would counsel him and that Paul's issues at the academy could be seen as an early warning indicator that Paul should be monitored down the road. Why wasn't he watched more closely?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for you.
Sergeant John Urquhart concedes the sheriff's office dropped the ball.
He should have been watched more closely. We should have worked with him more closely. It's not a question of watching him, not a question of looking over his shoulder, because that's not going to do anything. The question is working with him, training him, mentoring him.
That mentoring and training is happening now, but only after Paul used force in 19 cases and accumulated 7 complaints over his 5.5-year career. Is it time for the sheriff to cut him loose?
Sheriff has said she's not going to do that. She believes that when we do our job properly, Matt Paul will do his job properly.
For the family still struggling to accept Chris's fate, There's only one answer for the deputy who caused it.
He should not be a police officer, period, in any state, any city, any country.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be a police officer. He should not be working that way.
Linda Byron, King 5 News.
After we brought our findings to the sheriff, she sent the deputy to training to improve his communication skills and handling of crisis situations. And she ordered weekly reviews with the sergeant. And the sheriff says the Renton Police Department has agreed to review the Harris investigation.